Good evening, everyone. Welcome. Here we are talking about how to know when you found your true calling, your authentic self, the person and the dedicated profession that you want to make yours. For me, it happened last night, and I'm excited to talk about it. I think it will be an interesting new form of conversation for folks. And before we get rolling, I'm just going to make sure everything's coming through all right. Everything's coming through great. So, before we get rolling, let's just get a little bit of music going in the background here for the sake of ambience. Because I like ambience. And let's see here. Okay. That should be good. Welcome, folks. The evening last night, I'll just go right into it. So I met this person, his name is Adan, here in Mexico City a few weeks ago. He had sent me a message on Facebook after I had posted these specific services for writing love letters in Mexico City. They were going to be love letters written in Coyoacan, which is this beautiful little pueblo that has the Museum of Frida Kahlo and Diego Rivera, and lots of tourism, people coming through and wanting to take photos and record their experience in their own way. And I thought it would be a wonderful idea to provide typewritten messages for these people so that they can embrace the moment and have something they can hold on to for the rest of their lives. And so I put this experience up on Airbnb, and it's since evolved into now being in La Roma, which is a different colonia where a number of writers had lived for stints of time and written many books. One particular author that I find is very influential in the region where I'm now doing this event is Jack Kerouac, who wrote On the Road and was the principal leader of the Beat movement, the Beat generation, between the 40s and 50s. And so now the experience exists at this place called Vocablo, where people can come in and have a wonderful meal and enjoy their time there. So Adan had reached out to me and said, I really like what you're doing. I think it's awesome. I think it's unique. I don't think anyone else is doing it. And we have more to talk about. So he was in Bali at the time that he had written me, because he has his own company which is growing, and he's creating these groups of people that are into the idea of increasing their own sense of self-worth and self-love, and it's called the Love Academy. And he has great outreach in terms of the number of people that he shares divine wisdom with. And so we connected right away, and he invited me to this beautiful cacao ceremony and had displayed ecstatic dance and had DJ'd it, and it was wonderful. I had a transformative experience for me. It was like a rebirth, and this happened a few weeks ago. And so after the event, we got talking, and I was telling him about Shift 108 meditation, which I've started to roll out with a few select people to try, and the responses have been really positive, and it seems to have a really wonderful effect, just as I had hoped, with people and their self-esteem and well-being. And so after Adan had experienced this, he said, I love the idea of you writing these love letters. Why don't you bring, on February 13th, yesterday, why don't you bring your typewriter to the event, and you can write letters for people? And I thought it was an awesome idea. So they had live music. The brothers Gutierrez were there, and it was phenomenal. We had a cacao ceremony. There was live gong ceremony and people dancing and just enjoying life and celebrating friendship and the beauty of life. And in Colonia Juarez, it was amazing. And so Adan had set me up with this table to put everything there, and I had taken time earlier in the day to write some basic information about who I was and what I do on the back of these papers, and on the other side would be where their letters would go. And so I set up, and people came over the table, and I started just looking at them, connecting in the eyes, and asking a little bit about their Kabbalistic energy. Some people I would ask about the day of the week that they were born. Other folks I would ask what was the number that they were born during the month, what was the number, and with that information I would just start writing what I felt was the most positive aspects of these people, and to give them reassurance that they were on the right path and that they were here for a reason in order to receive this, and that it was more a reflection of who they were than me doing something for them. And it really gave me a lot of freedom and flexibility to write things that really just came up from the heart. And what was really interesting is I started to look at this as if these people were characters coming to me and wanting to express themselves. And so I just got out of the way. And as I was typing on the typewriter, I started to notice other characters wanting to come forward and speak to these characters in front of me. These people that are beautiful and wanting to celebrate life had messages coming to them. And coming through this 1949 Smith Corona Clipper typewriter, like a mechanical Ouija board. I mean, that's the best way that I can describe it. And so these messages started getting channeled through, and the first gentleman that I did this for, he was looking at me, and I heard this old gruff voice coming into my head, and just really wasn't letting go, and just kept repeating the same thing. So finally I just said, listen, I got a message for you, man. And I wrote the message down, and as I was writing it and looking over to him, I saw the tears welling in his eyes, and then following that, he just started to tear and cry, and his girlfriend who was with him went over and gave him a hug. And a few moments after I had finished the letter and finished one for his girlfriend, which also had a similar effect, similar type of things going on, he told me that this was the information that he was waiting to hear, and that it in fact was a message from his father who had passed away. And for me, it was highly profound and groundbreaking, moving. I was so grateful, and I also felt good that I trusted my heart enough to write the message that was coming through glaringly. And this kind of set the theme and the energy for the night. I wrote dozens of letters for people, and what ended up happening is everyone started to cry in their own way. Really, just about everyone crying, and I embraced them, just holding people for minutes on end, just holding and offering love and reassuring and providing really just any sort of reassurance that I could give based on who I am and how I recognize people needing love. And I got to see some people some friends that I know, and some new friends coming, and wrote letters for everyone, and just felt really fulfilled. And at the end of the night, people just applauding and being grateful and being generous with their donations. And I realized in the morning when I woke up this morning, it was crazy. I had all the stories cycling through my mind of the people that I had worked with. And I felt them so close to me, as if they were a part of my heart. And I had never felt anything like this before. And there was one woman that I spoke with last night who was extremely powerful. She had come over and introduced herself, and she just got down in the seated pose and closed her eyes as I was writing the letter, and she was just channeling it. And afterwards, she looked at me and she said, you know that you deserve love, right? And you deserve to feel good and fulfilled, and that you are a powerful man. You're connected with this energy and the spirit of a healer. And she continued to say these beautiful things. And this was after I had listened to her tell me that she was is a doula, and had given birth to 4 babies, helped to deliver 4 babies this week alone. and that she had also had to witness a mother pass away during giving birth. And I thought to myself, and she explained to me, almost a year ago I almost died, and she showed me she had all these, from what it appeared to be burn marks, like she may have almost died in a fire. Something she narrowly escaped and was alive. And I read her profile and discovered she had 3 ruling planets that were all Mars. And the only other case that I'd seen like this was Jean-Claude Van Damme. Gives you an idea of the type of energy that this woman has. She's a doula. She's a yoga instructor. She's a spiritual healer. And she's a person of service that rides on the fringe of bringing people into this world and also helping spirits to exit. And when she was saying to me, your elders are with you, your grandparents are with you, you deserve love, you need to take care of your health, I see the old man that you're going to be with flowing white hair and a flowing big beard. And I am telling you right now that you need to take care of your health for that old man that you're going to be. And that time is irrelevant. Time is irrelevant. That reality of who you are that I see right now is rooting for you and counting on you, taking care of yourself and your health so that you live for as long as I imagine him living, and it's for a long time. She looked at my lifeline through palmistry, and she's like, you're going to live a very long time. But you need to take care of your heart, you need to take care of your lungs, you need to eat well, you need to eat spicier food. And she was just hitting all the nodes, all the marks. And just taking my hand and caressing it and making me feel loved and good. And it was just all I needed. And I thought to myself, today I was meeting with my good friend Jui, and just we're talking about the idea of like what is really important, and it's just the idea of someone being there for you and being good to you and just being present. And I thought about this last night. This woman that had never met me before, she said, I was so close to going home, and yet I decided to come here. I decided that I needed to be here. And she came here, and I wrote her a letter telling her about how beautiful and powerful she was. And she took my hand and she said, you deserve love and you deserve goodness in your life because you need to take care of yourself for the amount of people that you are meant to serve, for the amount of people that you need to take care of in this life. And as I took all this information in, I tried to go live last night at like 3 o'clock in the morning when I had gotten home, but the internet wasn't working, and now it's working fine. So for whatever reason, tonight is the night. On Valentine's Day, I have the ability now to explain that I know what my calling is. I don't think there's anybody else in this world that I know that's doing seances using an old mechanical typewriter from 1949, but I'll tell you what, as quickly and as easily as I connect with the characters in the books that I write, I connect with these people that I'm looking at in their eyes. And what comes out are things that there's no way I could possibly know. There's no way I could possibly fabricate. And it takes me back to when I was a child. And the first thing I ever was fascinated with were the symbols of language. Letters, words, spelling them, understanding them, reading them, writing them. That from 18 months I was reading. It was the greatest fascination of my life and still is. So this woman, Paulina, that I was talking to, the healer and the doula, she said, this is what it is that you have to do. This is it. You found it. Now you got to take care of yourself. And that was it. She went off and did her dancing, and I continued to write these letters for people, and the people that have been so good to me, that have been so kind, even strangers that I met coming in and being so kind, and us all just crying together in happiness and embracing one another. There's no better service than this. So when people come to you and they say, wow, this really made my life better, or this made my day better, then that is your authentic calling. You found it. It really has to do with service. when I think about now, I wore my Sai Baba shirt, this orange tunic, which was a miracle in itself, the way that it was acquired 7 years ago. And in this Indian store where there was clothing and it was on sale, and I saw it and I thought, oh my God, this is just like the dream I had with Satya Sai Baba. He showed me a table. He said, here on the left is my tunic. You know you can wear this, right? You know that you have no problem wearing this, and I am in agreement with it. And then on the right-hand side, there was just a bunch of these like magazines that were like GQ magazines and just filled with beautiful people. And he said, or you can choose this life. You can choose this life, the life of attachment to the physical beauty of things, or you can choose to wear the tunic. Last night I put on the tunic. I gave my heart to people. I gave them all of my love. I expected nothing in return. Many people ask me, they were saying, so what do I owe you for this? I said, only your time. I'll tell you what, the box that I had filled up with money. It was a sign that this is what I needed to do. And in the morning, I woke up in the morning and I wrote the most fulfilling song that's mostly in Spanish and also in English, just about the process of loving the person who you want to be with. And I'm thinking to myself, it's so simple for me now. It's so simple, and I'm not worried because I'm surrounded now by people who are unbelievably loving and kind. I know for sure that I'm at the place where someone is just going to be present for me as they are now, but really for the long haul, to be there by my side. I imagine a woman being by my side and walking this path with me, seeing the love and the healing that is generated as a result of this service, and this person coming home with me and being close to me and just being within proximity and loving the journey as much as I love the journey with this person. And this isn't something big to ask for. It's very simple. And so I know that this is generating now as a result of my service. I need to have someone by my side who is an alchemist like myself, who is a bruja like myself, who is interested enough to believe in what I'm working on, and to have the female component, the receiving component in my life next to me. And I know that I am materializing this because it is not a tall order, and it is something where I know I can bring fulfillment to this person's life. So as we say, it's just a matter of time, and I'm not worried, because now it's harder work to do it by myself, and it would be more fulfilling and beautiful to share this with someone intimately in my life. But it's not necessary in order for the service to continue. So I'm not worried. As the person lands into my life, I say, these are all my wounded gifts. These are all my issues, so to speak. These are all my authentic gifts. This is the child within. These are the things that I've made as mistakes in the past that I have fixed. These are the programs I'm working with now that I believe are pretty solid, and I love these components of what you are. These are the things that I recognize in you and love, and let's just begin the journey. Let's begin the journey. This is something just to remind everyone. Say, let's begin the journey with the person that's in your life, or say, let's begin the journey with yourself. Every morning. Every morning, say it. The sun has risen for you to have another morning. And so at the end of the day, the sun goes down for you to recognize what you accomplished in those moments of light. So really recognize them and be grateful that you were able to take action and make something happen, because it's worth recognizing. So, in summary, how to know when you found your calling is when people come to you and they say, as a result of what you've done, I feel better. As a result of what you've done, I see myself in the light of positivity. And this is a process that you must refine. Your skill won't be perfect. You know, I've made a lot of mistakes as a writer. And they're not so much mistakes anymore as they are first drafts. So the one thing I know I can do pretty strong is create a hook at the beginning of the book, in the first chapter, the first verse of a song. And that's what's being offered to someone when we first meet them. There's a honeymoon phase for everyone. But the true books, those things come out over time, and I think those are best reserved for the people who are willing to stick around. You know, for the people who are willing to stick around, those are the ones that you show the books to. And you show the books after they've been revised a few times, or maybe not if the person's open to it. But it's hard to be open to something that's raw in a first draft. It's going to have a lot of things that need refinement. But isn't that the process of being with someone? Things get shown for the raw source that they are, and they get refined over time through effort. And isn't it the Gnostic approach to do exactly that? And isn't it the Grecian approach to love, to say we recognize those qualities that are powerful in the other person, and that is the way that we appreciate one another through love, which is to appreciate the successes and the growths of the person that we admire? That just doesn't happen all the time. We tolerate the other stuff in order to get to those moments, and that's when it's said, this is a good moment. This rebirth was a good moment. This session of honest communication was a good moment. I'm here for you. Holding someone's hand and distributing that oxytocin that is to create a bonding effect between you. And to say, I'm here for you. Even if I'm upset, I'll take 15 minutes. I love you. I'll be back. You've had enough time in your life without being reassured. You've had enough time in your life with people ghosting you. You've had enough time in your life with people telling you you can't do it. You've had enough time in your life with people not believing in you. My job is to make sure now that we cherish the seed between us. We're planting it today, so I'm here for you. When you found your authentic calling, this is the person you need to have by your side, if you're to decide to do that. I am. As a Pisces, I can't go through life. I've decided I'm not going to go through life just loving the characters that I create on page. I want to love and adore a real woman by my side for the rest of my life. I want to cherish her. I want her to get crazy with me, but to know that she's the only one that I think about. She's the only one that I want to be with. She's the only one that I think about again and again. And I go to sleep looking at her and saying, okay, I've seen the most beautiful person on this planet. I wake up in the morning, I say, great, I've just witnessed the most beautiful person on this planet, and this is the start and end to my day, every day. As much as I can accomplish that, as many times as I can do that with the remaining days that I have in my life. This long, white-bearded life. That's me. It may not be the same thing for everybody else. You know, that's me. That's William the Pisces. Born to love. That's my destiny. Born to love and serve. So I did a lot of talking about me. Well, you know, this is because I found my calling, and it's a mini celebration. This is me saying, I found my place. There's no worries. The books are getting published. The process is getting done. The teaching is happening. The gifts are arriving. The seeds are germinating. The garden is growing. And the mindset has changed. And you know, I have to be grateful to the people in my life who have been catalysts in this. I think of one in particular right now that I haven't had contact with, and it's not my choice. I miss her a lot. And she was a catalyst for many of these things to happen. Showed me a part of myself that I really needed to reflect upon. Showed me a part of myself that needed a lot of refinement, that needed patience, needed to be mindful of my words. This person helped change my life in a very short period of time. So I'm grateful to her. And I'm sending it out into the universe to let her know that I miss her. And I don't know how to maintain silence. It just doesn't feel right to me. But I accept what it is, knowing that it just can't possibly be me. You know, that's what it gets down to. If someone just can't communicate, you can't force it. Just can't get down on yourself either and say, you know, oh, it must have been this, that, the other thing. Because that just gets into rumination. But man, I miss how much I appreciate what she's done for me. And so that's that. So if you're out there and you hear this at some point, if you're out there and you hear this at some point, in some moment, know that I miss you and I'm grateful to you. And you changed my life. And everything is moving in the right direction. The direction that you imagined. And you encouraged me to dream in that way. And transformed me into who I am now. And you deserve the recognition for this. And I know there's something going on beyond me. And I wish I knew what it was. Because quite frankly, I want to help. And I don't know how. And I also don't know how to successfully communicate anymore. I don't know if I ever did. So just know that this is me trying. If you hear this, if you're out there, you'll know I'm talking about you. I miss you, and I don't know how to open the channels because I'm quite afraid to try to initiate any more conversation to just be met with silence. And I have to preserve myself. I have to preserve my heart. I hope you understand. I'm waiting just to know that you're good, just to know that you're finding your way, just to know that you've made your own progress, to listen to you, not to judge you, but just to listen to you and to offer the energy that the universe wants to give us, wants to present to us. So if you're out there and you're listening, I miss you. And I want you to know I'm celebrating tonight because I found it. I found the key to who I need to be. And it's through the word. One word at a time. To everyone who's watched tonight and watches in the future, I want you to know I'm grateful to you for your time. That you dedicated enough time to absorb this. And I want you to know that I'm here for you. At any moment in time, if you need to reach me, leave a comment. And I'll get in touch to let you know how to do that. Because your feedback is important, your life is important, your energy is sacred, and I receive it with open arms. To everyone, I hope you have a beautiful night. Thank you for listening and watching, and I hope that you find this inspiring. Happy Valentine's Day. Fill your heart with love before anything else. Let it overflow into the people in your lives. And be grateful for those who have brought change to yours, as I have. Good night.